Okay, so we are beginning. Took me a bit of time to set up because once you get that many windows, it actually not that easy. But it's done. Let's start spinning. First, hi Simon. Simon says first. And we start with Japan. Okay. See, apparently not much has changed, which is understandable uh, considering it's been only 7 years and Japan is not a fast nation. They were still doing some of their stuff. They are enacting public schools with 40% success. It's pretty much guaranteed. They have quite a few movements. Interventionism is actually quite strong. What do they have now? They have laissez-faire. Yeah, they have. Let's actually look over everything. Quite a few radicals, but for their population, it's not too bad. Probably mostly from those movements. Actually, I can check that. Over here, yeah, 2 million from political demands. I believe they did colonize. Yeah, they colonized part of New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Micronesia, Fiji, almost with Belgium as well here. Yeah, so they colonized quite a bit of the area. Mexico has Hawaii's. Okay, so I have freedom of conscience, which is actually pretty good because they have Shinto and some kind of Buddhism. National supremacy, which is fine. Professional army, no warfares. Homesteading. Over here it looks pretty fine. Not much in the human rights. Probably they have a ton of peasants still, so legal guardianship is not an issue. Child labor, will probably want to fix it after getting the public schools anyways. So it's there's an order to things. I wonder, can you have education institution when you have no schools? Yeah, it disables. Okay, so you cannot. Probably it's even required for the disallowed by no schools law. Makes sense. And yeah, they did not invest much in their health system yet, and they probably actually they have minus 500 bureaucracy right now, so that's not too much. Their economy, I don't think they grew much, not much change in their position. I think they grow like 10 million in GDP, I think. What am I looking for? Their market, right. Ooh, nowhere close enough to enough engines. They should start importing them from someone. Not enough fine art, even for themselves. Though, actually, wait, they're exporting more than they are using, even with their low population. Coal is expensive, glass is expensive, steel is fairly cheap, grain as well. Iron is very cheap. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. They don't have huge problems with it, except engines. Engines are a bit of a problem. They are not buying any. Could they buy some from Europe? I mean, I think they should be able to, right? Yeah. For some reason they cannot buy too many from me, but yeah, they can buy a ton of engines. It should be fine. Okay, sorry. Okay, should be better now. So yeah, except the engines, it's fine. They have not that much construction actually, and they still they don't even have the tech for the steel buildings. And it's not too far away, but they're not getting it for the time being. They are starting on H3, which I mean for Asia it's fine. In the military, I assume, yeah, they are behind a fair bit, but that's not too bad. They don't have any land-based threats, though probably they would want to get a bit ahead in military just to get into China at this point, because they will need a lot of just raw power to force themselves onto the land. Might not be that easy. And in production, yeah, I mean it's, as I said, it's fine for Japan, but nothing special. I'm surprised they're not going more into steel, because they have a lot of positive income, a lot of money saved up, or even just plain construction. I'm not really sure about that, to be honest. And it would also benefit their economy as a whole a lot, because construction sectors are buying a lot of stuff. So I think Japan is, yes, still not much change since the previous session. I wonder when will they be, because they said something about going into China, so I'm wondering when is that going to happen. They will need to build up quite a bit, both in technology and military. How's their fleet? Yeah, they have no navy, which means their prestige is also suffering from that. Where are they compared to the... Yeah, they are actually kinda low on prestige. They are behind Mexico and Portugal in GDP, though it's hard to say how they're... for some reason I can see Portugal's GDP graph, but not for most other people. Wait, I can see them for everyone except Mexico and Japan. Alright. Maybe because they desynced at some point. It's kinda weird. Still, Japan goes into, let's say, B. Probably at some point I should update their flags, but just downloading stuff, and then you cannot remove flags from this menu, so that's a bit annoying. You have to redo everything from the start. Okay, let's see who's next. Brazil. Let's see how they're doing. They're getting comfy in their American customs union. They are losing a lot of money, wow. What are they spending this money on? They are not at war with anyone. Looks like it's just constructed goods, pretty much. They do have almost 600 construction. It appears they have, yeah, laissez-faire. They are losing money, but for the time being they are not in debt, so it's not too bad. They have a fair amount of radicals and a lot of movements as well. They should be able to push through census suffrage, but maybe they should think about doing something to ease up their radicals. Child labor. Oh, that would actually be super good for them. Though probably industries wouldn't even hate it that much, so that would be super nice occasion for them to get this done. Yeah, maybe after they get census suffrage and start on restricted child labor, it will be fine. They will get a good amount of loyalists from this, so maybe it's not too bad. Other-in-laws, freedom of conscience, appointed bureaucrats, which is not ideal, but I guess their population is not that large anyway, so it's not that much of a change either way. National Guard, which is always good for military, but in their part of the world, I'm not sure if that's that meaningful. Tenant farmers still, but I assume the landowners have 20% clout still, so that's a fair amount actually. The industrialists have almost 40. Local police force, oh yeah, that's propping the landowners as well. Charity hospitals, and getting charity hospitals is annoying because usually the people who want public healthcare the most is the church. Once you get charity hospitals, they do not want to switch anymore. That's usually why I want to switch to public health insurance as soon as possible, before the church starts losing power. And not many changes here other than poor laws, which is not that important. Yeah, they have fairly low cost for bureaucracy for institution levels, though they are on a pretty low level as well for most of them. They can increase their income, but still they will be losing a lot of money. Oh, they're actually using that construction to build army. Huh? We have 46. Well, they do need a bit more troops to beat Grand Colombia on their own. And most of this production is being used by private construction on by the capitalists. I assume they're gearing up for a war against Grand Colombia, like the solo war, like Mexico is doing right now. Yeah, it's just 1v1. And Mexico has over 100 battalions. Is it mostly their army, or nah, they're just having a lot of conscripts? And I assume Brazil would have a good amount of conscripts as well. So I'm not even sure they do need. Let's fleet. They went for all of their conscripts. $54. Yeah, they should be able to just beat them with conscripts. Grand Colombia is at war, so I guess they're not likely to get more conscripts than they have right now. Let's take a look at the American market. They started building automobiles. I assume it's all in America. Yep, Michigan, Ohio, New York. And they are using a lot of them. The price is very high. They have also not enough engines by quite a large margin. Not enough art, not enough glass, not enough groceries. Still it's a bit expensive. A lot of stuff is expensive in the American market. They are overproducing hardwood by mile, which is usually when you get like logging camps from AI, you have to switch them manually because AI just loves producing hardwood for no reason. There's way too much of it in game usually. Oil is okay. The basic goods are fine, but everything that's even a little bit processed is a bit more expensive. Yeah, the steel, glass, coal being expensive, engines being very expensive, explosive too. That's all not ideal, to be honest. Let's see at the tech. In production, yeah, it's not much change. Honestly, it's like, what, 2 techs done from the previous session, so it's not really possible for much to have changed. They did finish the second age for military, but that's not really meaningful in South America. They are pretty behind on society, but it's, as I said last time, they focused production, which is probably the good idea in their current situation, and well, not much has changed because it's been only 7 years. So their companies are focusing on gold. textile mills and a bit of basic mines. I guess if you have enough gold mines, it's always fine to get the... So you're missing out on the construction bonus. Maybe throughput is worth it by itself, though I'm not sure honestly. And I don't think they're producing that much clothes. No, they do have the biggest textile mill in the American market, at least. So that's something for Rio de Janeiro. That's a good bonus. Yeah, it honestly feels... they could switch some of their production methods over here. Maybe it's just... It seems kinda random. How it's not really turned on everywhere. Maybe they're trying to stagger it. Explosives are already pretty expensive in the American market. But I think usually with the... Oh, you definitely don't want nitroglycerin because that kills a lot of your pops. And actually dynamite is just straight up better because it also gives... wait, does it increase? Yeah, more explosive. You use more explosive than nitroglycerin? I think so. Let's see some of the... Yeah, you do use more explosives, but it's really not worth it, I think, to use nitroglycerin. Where Persia? There, I might have forgotten Persia. No, Persia is here. It's just cut off by... Yeah. It's like over here, but for obvious reason, I'm not keeping all of it in view. Maybe if I did something like this. I guess that's fine. Oh, you didn't see all of what I did because I keep like the moving on a separate window, but yeah, it should be more visible now. Slightly. Okay. It's not impossible I have forgotten some nation, but it wasn't Persia, not this time. So Brazil has huge construction. They're still kind of in their build-up moment. They are behind in tech. I don't think they had such huge construction when they started this session. They have bigger construction now than America. No, America built up their construction quite a bit. They used the 7 years to actually go to 1,000 construction, but still, I think they might be in the top somewhere. Like, let's take a quick look around. Yeah, Spain has much less. Russia has 800, so that's close to Brazil. Egypt, they have much more than Japan, first of all. Much more than Egypt, who's apparently struggling with money, so that might be part of the reason. They kept steel frame. Kimi, did you remove construction sectors for the economic situation or not? Let's actually compare Brazil to Mexico. No. But I assume you didn't build more. Mexico also has a fair amount of construction, to be honest, for their size, and they're actually much healthier when it comes to economy, but I look at them when it comes time for it. Well, if I look at the Brazil at this very current point in time, I think they're losing a lot of money, and I don't see how they're going to be able to repay it in the short term, especially since the American market is not doing super well for their participants when it comes to prices. So I think they go to C, but I could see them recovering very quickly with all the stuff like their radicals, their income, and their market. But I think at this current moment they go into C. And now let's check the next nation. And it is Mexico, okay. I do as the wheel demands. So Mexico, a bit lower construction than their southern neighbor, but they do have much healthier finances. They have like half the deficit, and actually if they increase their taxes, lowered wages, they could go into positive. They don't even have that many consumption taxes. They could add service. They probably should add services. No, 45. No, but usually services are pretty good. They probably could, remove some edicts and get more money this way. So money-wise, Mexico certainly does much better. They are building steel mills. They're not building rubber. So what are you doing? And then they're going to be building army. I'm actually, where are they building army? I mean, they're far from becoming a great power with prestige. Though, if Mexico became a great power, they would gain their own customs union, I think. Right? That's how it works. Do you automatically leave the customs union, or do you stay in the customs union? Yeah, but my issue is they're not building rubber plantations, and it's for the good of the entire world's economy. They should be building more rubber plantations. Let's take a quick look at their laws. They do have a fair amount of radicals, but they have a bigger population than Brazil as well. They do have state religion, which is an issue for them. So you need to actually leave to become GP. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking if it kicks you out or not, but apparently it doesn't. So that's good for them. They have frontier colonization, which I think at this point is irrelevant. Yep. Their institutions are not ideal. They are going for healthcare, and it's not going perfectly. They have 2 setbacks and 60% success rate. They're actually unlucky. They had basic 26%. So under normal conditions they should be able to do it, but looks like they had some pretty tough rolls. They still might be able to do it, but it's not going to be quick. Enact no home affairs. Okay, that's rare to see something like this. Enact free trade. But they're not too bad, not too high radicalism. Yeah, most of the radicals are from standards of living, so the movements are not too big of an issue. And yeah, they have religious schools and private health insurance, which are both not ideal. They have no migration control, which is probably making a lot of their discriminated pops go to America, which is probably annoying as well, since a lot of their cultures are discriminated. Let's see by numbers. Yeah, all of those people really want to go to United States, though I assume some of them would be also persecuted in United States, so I'm not sure. Swedes, I'm not sure how that would work out. Swedes actually are one of the few people who are not being persecuted. State religion, and is it state religion the one with and they're Protestant and they're accepted? What is the religion? Yeah, they are discriminated. Okay, because there's some Catholics. I'm a bit confused about that. They also have a gold company, but they have like double the amount of gold mines. They have the basic rubber logging camps company, which is obviously very nice. And they have a lot of mines, so they have a mines company as well. Why are they building so much army and navy? I was thinking they were an AI at the end of the session, so maybe it's AI adding stuff. Maybe that's what it is. Their tech in production, they are a bit ahead of Brazil, I think. Yeah, and they are at war, so I wouldn't be surprised if AI did add those armies. They're a bit ahead in production tech, which is what I think the South Americans are focusing. Pretty much the same mill, but they have better ports, so that's pretty good for them. Ports are probably the most important tech for South Americans who are not in danger of any war, and they are a bit more behind on society tech, I think, because they are only now finishing their H2. So they are about equal with Brazil in tech, but I think their economy is in a better state. They have like 200 less construction. Let me see again. No, they have like 100 less construction, and they have much better finances. Less radicals too. I think the Mexicans are doing somewhat better than Brazil, and they are about to. They're actually having a positive income despite fighting a war with AI. But with AI controlling things, who knows what's actually going on? And they seem to be mobilized. But yeah, with AI control, things can be weird. I think still they go into B. Sorry, yeah, into B. B or A for Mexico. They're not that much better than Brazil, so into B they go. And let's continue. And we get France, which was played by AI for, was it entire session or just part of it? I think just part of it, right? I think that player couldn't keep up. Yeah. And then they got attacked by everyone around them. They have some isolated regions. They are in debt, but they're not losing money. And actually they could be making a ton of money if they wanted to. Yeah, I assume they are pretty much losing all of those wars quite badly. You could only see the fronts. Okay. So this one, it's 50k versus 100k, so that's rough. And this one is 27k versus 200k. Yeah, that's... They are pretty much dying. If anything is stopping their enemies from winning... No, I was thinking maybe they have like Belgium is fighting and they're losing all of their battles, but now they're about to probably gain a lot of land in France, and I assume Spain is not even attacking. Yeah, Spain is not even attacking. They are just controlling Fez, which is their war goal. They are also fighting in China, and I think, isn't this the biggest front? Yeah, they have more troops in China than on either of their fronts, and almost as many as on both combined. So that's interesting take. Wait, no, that's including their armies of their of Vietnam, but still, they have a lot of troops in Asia at this point. They will win this, but what will they gain? They might gain, because they are being supported by Italy and Bengal, which is former India. They might get that treaty port in China, but that's... I mean, I guess once the player takes over them... Are we going to have a player on France next session? Do we have someone... Do we have a player on Great Britain? Anyone knows? it comes to laws, appointed bureaucrats, it's a bit surprising on France. They could probably benefit a lot from having the elected bureaucrats. So apparently we do have France, but not GB, which I assuming France will probably end up in a better position, in a worse position than Great Britain. But then again, I think AI Great Britain is better because AI would be better with playing Great Britain than France, probably out of those two. It's not going to be good, but it's probably going to be better, especially considering the current position of double wars. We're going to lose watch colonies somewhere, just a bit there, low countries, so a bit going to Belgium. This is actually gonna look pretty nicely on the map, so I'm happy about that. Fez, which is gonna look super nice compared to the current situation, so that's good. War reparation, revoke claim on Flanders, liberate Java, which apparently they have a state there. So it's not gonna be terrible for them. The most important thing is going to be over here, and that is 2 million population and 7 million GDP. No, they are already the lowest out of the the strongest GDPs. They have the lowest economy, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to overtake, for example, Russia anytime soon. Though they are far ahead of Italy, so this one promise is not going to change it. That's because, about the bureaucrats, they have past 25 taxation capacity, which at this point of the game usually is not really that relevant anyways. It's good, but they have, yeah, as you can see, in most places they have more taxation than they need. Of course it would go down once they change it, but in most of their provinces they actually wouldn't. They actually overproduce it in Paris, I think, a bit. They could spread it up a bit better, but anyways, they are using their bureaucracy 2,000 on corporate estates and 6,000 on institutions, and they could reduce those 6,000 from institutions by 15% with elected bureaucrats. Meanwhile, hereditary bureaucrats reduce 25% from population, but that's actually less than what they would gain from elected bureaucrats. And this one also empowers aristocrats, which is something you never want. Yeah, Kimi just said it in one sentence. They have actually a fair amount of human rights, which is rare in our game. Still no primary school, which is really good. And yeah, as you can see, they have very little institutions despite having this massive cost of 6,000. They could go for police, for better health care. Oh, they have private healthcare, interesting. Yeah, so as you can see, they have not that many institutions, and they could have they already have very high cost of administration for those. They have really good prestige. That's one thing going for them. They are leading producer of fish, second producer of hardwood, of course, because they were led by an AI, and AI increased the production of hardwood by a ton, most likely. Third producer of steamers, that's interesting. Third producer of fertilizer, second producer of wine, third producer of ironclads. Not that many critical goods, but I assume a lot of this stuff is because of AI. Prestige is nice because it does make it easier to stay a great power. For example, you can keep wages low, so it can in a way just be a direct economical benefit. But yeah, France right now definitely the weakest of the starting great powers. Yeah, 15% less for institutions. It's the for population one is the aristocracy one. So France definitely goes into C, all things considered. They will need some work from their player, but definitely still a great power. Oops, I didn't want to click that. They are still twice as rich as Italy. Speaking about Italy, here we go. Remove that. Let's see. They do not have... Actually, is there anyone in a civil war right now? No, though we do have a few big wars going on, so... This is a bit of a change from the norm. Actually, what was the French construction? That's one thing I didn't take a look. 600, okay, so that's a bit more than Mexico. But they're also making a ton of money, so a player could add a ton of stuff. Denmark is having a civil war, oh, of course, we need someone. But Denmark was not being played at the end of the session, I think, right? Probably. So Italy is losing a lot of money. What are you spending your money on? Oh, probably military? Do you mobilize fleets? Like, actually, I don't know. I don't think I've ever used fleets in an actual war, so I'm not sure. Yeah, because you're definitely spending. Yeah, Denmark wasn't played all the session, not surprising. Fleets are... But do you mobilize fleets? Yeah, you're certainly spending more on government than... subsidies? You're paying subsidies? Oh yeah, it's subsidies to railway, never mind. Military wages, goods for military buildings. More for barracks still than naval bases. A ton for government wages, which is not military. Something is strange. The market... I didn't take a look at the French market, but it is at war and then AI, so it's not really relevant. I mean, the market, like, liquor is not that important, except for the quality of life. Ironclads, but it's only 60%, that's not that expensive. And those are important goods, but they're only 10%. Engines are okay, steel is cheap, explosives are cheap, tools are very cheap, weapons are very cheap. Where is your money going? Highest taxes, lowest wages, and of course military is high, but that's to be expected. Yeah, it's doing the again the thing that it's not updating correctly the wages for some reason. I think it's only doing that for military. Like, what the hell is going on? Now it's minus 26, minus 37. And 37 again, plus 4. Yeah, something is crooked with the military wages. I didn't see it happen on the normal wages. It's fine. It's just the military wages that do this thing. Yeah, sometimes it's skipping the update, and I think then it's lagging behind. Yeah, now it's for the highest, for the lowest, highest, and now it's lagging one behind. Still lagging. Yeah. Something is wrong with the wages, military wages in particular. I guess you could go into medium wages, which is 16, I think. Yeah, minus 16. It is 30k interest, so you're spending a lot of money on something. Ports, maybe? Like, there's a lot more spending on government wages than I would expect, especially on the lowest wages. Usually people spend more on construction than on everything else, and you have like almost twice fixed national expenses than construction, which is a bit surprising to me. And granted, you don't have that much construction, but that makes it even more surprising. Is Italy just not making that much money, even with the highest taxes? What's your per capita taxation? So that should be fine. I guess 100k from proportional. Maybe your your pops just moved away from per capita taxation and they're just hiding their money. If you had proportional taxation, it would be good, but that's pretty hard to pass at this point of the game. Yeah, could also be ports. Maybe let's look at your institutions. Not that many institutions. So it's not like you are using too much bureaucracy. You are going... it's not that much up. I mean, paper is a bit expensive, but it's not that expensive. I wonder how it would look after the war. Maybe because something about the convoys being used. 370. It's not using any convoys for supply routes, which is, I think, what's used in wars. And you are using 14k convoys. That's a lot. How much, for example, the United States have? That's half of what United States have, but I assume United States are like top dog when it comes to convoys. Yeah, United States have more convoys than Britain, and Italy has half of what United States have, and they do have like 1/4 of their GDP. Yeah. Maybe it will go down after the war, so I'm curious to see what happens. What is Italy getting? Reparations. So that will be good, actually. That will be super good for Italy, because they're gonna get so much money from Qing. How much money are they going to get? They have income of over 1 million. Yeah, Italy, once this war is over, Italy is going to be doing pretty well when it comes to cash, though when is the war is going to end? Are they going below? Yeah, I think the war goals are being occupied, yeah, because the capital is being occupied, so... The war should be over in like -5 per week, yeah, in half a year or so, assuming there's nothing surprising happening. Yeah, it looks like AI is moving their troops all over the place. What the hell is going on here? They have they're losing all of their fronts, and they have most of the, except the Russian one, but that's because Russia also is moving their troops. What a mess. Yeah, got a lot of wars in Victoria Free. I have no clue how China is doing, because all of their troops are moving. Check out the politics for China or for Italy. Oh yeah, everyone is marginalized. You have marginalized armed forces and trade unions. I guess the industrialists are just so strong they're sagging up everyone else. But surprising that intelligentsia and rural folk are so strong as well. I guess rural folk because you do have a fair amount of farms, like silk and so on. And intelligentsia, that's surprising. They do have a lot of leaders, so that's a good chunk of their strength. and because like there's voting, their party gets a lot of clout just from the votes. Yeah, marginalized parties do not get clout for votes, I guess, right? Yeah, actually two-party state. And 100% legitimacy. Oh, that's nice. That's what you get when you don't have a monarchy. You can actually have a legitimate government. So yeah, the financial problem, either way, though, are kind of interesting for Italy. They're gonna be solved once they get Qing, and they will be able to get much higher construction. They have a healthy GDP. Let's take a look at their tech. They are halfway done through production. That's not great, not terrible. In military, they are also halfway done, which is what you need to do when you live in Europe. And society, they are like quarter through the second age. Honestly, I'm not loving the Italian situation currently, to be honest. Their laws, interventionism, so no laissez-faire. I assume that's because Simon prefers to have a bit more control than because the industrialists would love to switch. It would be very easy. National army, appointed bureaucrats. So I guess they're not getting that many institutions just now, so it's not that important. So the separation, racial segregation, public schools and insurance. That's nice. Rate of assembly, which is getting rid of that minus 10% technology spread, always nice. Actually, they have what they would have to. Yeah, they are pretty safe as a great power for the time being. They have like 300 prestige leeway. Though their money, even with the Qing support, would be suffering a bit. Yeah, I'm not loving the Italian situation at this very current moment. Like maybe the finances would fix themselves, and then construction would, of course, skyrocket, and then things would fix themselves. Yeah, I feel like they are getting closer and closer to the rivals behind them, which is Portugal, Mexico, Japan. Egypt's being lagging a bit more behind than others. Wow, Spain has the lowest GDP out of all of those. Gotta take a look at Spain. And they do have like twice the prestige of other. That's actually interesting. Gonna have to take a look at that. I think the gap between Italy and their next competitors for the great power is closing, so I think Italy is going to go into C in the end. Yeah, there's I'm not sure where the money is going, but that's that's the Italian administracy for you in a nutshell. Money is going somewhere, just not to the important things. Qing will certainly help, but that's not a long-term solution. But maybe it will fix itself after the war or something. It could be also that. That's the navy expenses are going somewhere strange. Like the ports are paying for it somehow. Yeah, Japan was basically not much changed, so there's not much to talk about, unfortunately. USA, 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 yes. Yes, USA. Yeah, they jumped a lot in GDP this last session. Of course, there's no historical data for some reason, despite being the host. Wait, I can see people's history of GDP. Well, I can see it for some people. How does that work? I feel like I saw more graphs before. What? They are losing a fair amount of money, but probably, yeah, they can just switch around some stuff and gain a ton. Oh yeah, I didn't notice you getting class affair, but like in the grand scheme of things, Japan didn't change their position in the global point from the global point of view. State atheism going on. How much? Let's see. How much atheists they got? 20%, and they have the vast majority of political strength, obviously, because all Protestants are being discriminated, right? There's already more atheists than Catholics, and as someone said, the world is going to be thankful for USA going atheist, because that means they're going to be sucking up less population from the entire world, so that's nice. And they are sucking up a lot of population. Actually, they have more Croatians now than Swedes, which should tell you a lot, because there's many less Croatians in Austria than there are Swedes in Sweden. That's very unfortunate for me, but what you can do. And Croats live in the coastal states as well. So that's just brilliant. Atheist clergy, that's a good question. No. Yeah, they lose 50%. They have no clout. It's 18k population. I don't know, like, those are the best states. People are moving from Switzerland to Croatia, and Croats are leaving. Like, that's not good enough for them. I don't know. Let's see. America is probably leading goods producer in a lot of stuff, but actually not that much. Third producer of automobiles? I'm not even producing automobiles. Third producer of electricity. That's actually surprising to me. I would think they had much better production in a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, they're just barely behind Germany and Great Britain. And electricity, I don't think they have... how do I check this? Oh yeah, makes sense that the AI spammed both the military and... But I don't think Brazil was AI at any point, or was it? Because Brazil is also producing army, though in their case it makes a bit more sense, because they might need a bit more troops for a war versus Grand Colombia. I'm not sure how to check. Oh, Brazil was AI too, okay. Yeah, the USA like grew the GDP by like 50% in 7 years, so that's pretty good, gotta say. They're constructing now ports, coal mines, universities. Yeah, they probably need a lot more qualifications, and maybe even a bit more innovation. A lot of wheat farms in the United States. Apparently that's because they are no longer importing as much as they wanted from Egypt, but no, they actually, maybe they already started constructing a fair amount, but the price of grain is pretty low. Let's see the techs, starting on age 4, which is probably like Germany, Great Britain and USA are probably going to be doing that. Military, finishing age 3, which for United States that's absolutely fine. And finishing, actually even already have Zeppelins, which is very nice because it's market access impact, though it was probably fairly expensive because they had to research it with tech missing in H2. So that's almost 4,000, assuming that it was only feminism, 4,000 penalty to research. That's like missing even one tech. One tech is actually not too bad, though it's pretty bad, 20% about. but missing 2 or 3 texts, it's really hard to go and research ahead of time. Yeah, maybe it was 2 texts, so that's maybe worth it for Zeppelins, because that's really good, but still pretty rough. I guess when you're ahead, that's fine to just... though I guess it would be better to get ahead in some kind of trade good than just market access. It doesn't change that much, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. Industrials are being suppressed in the United States. That's interesting. And it's it's the farmers that are the strongest party in the United States. Okay. Let's see. Property to women. That's surprising. Racial segregation. Who would have thought? Public schools. Public health insurance. This is a very different United States. Interventionism. Protectionism. That's all fine. Institutions are fine. Yeah, United States are growing super hard. They also don't have that many radicals. They have like as many radicals and as some places that have half their population, so it's absolutely fine. Communist intelligentsia. Yep. Is it because of their... Yep, their leader is communist. So the second strongest party in America is communist. Democrats are pretty weak. Constitutional Union and Petite Bourgeoisie is not even in the party. They're going to join the Whigs. That's very interesting. Yeah, I think United States still goes into S tier because they are growing just so fast, and I don't think it's gonna stop anytime soon. Even despite their huge debt, like 40 million, but that's... they can pay it with no problem. They have only like 1,000 construction only, which is like probably 3rd or 4th most. Great Britain has 700, so I guess they went down a fair amount. They were at 1,000 at some point. Germany is 1,200, and just a quick look, not gonna delve into it too much. I'm at 1,000, I think? No, I actually went down. I think that's because some bonus changed. Yeah, I think that's because I have the trade unions unhappy. My construction is below 1,000. And Russia is at 800. Yeah, the United States is actually not that second biggest construction in the game, I think. It's actually not too bad. Oh, maybe Bengal. Let's check Bengal. Only 700, so not that much. Yeah, definitely C tier for United States. And let's keep going. And it is Belgium. And they are actually gaining a new province, so I should probably stop saying that they are reaching their maximal potential. They are not, definitely not reaching their maximal potential for this, because they still do not control this province. And once they do get it, it's gonna be more than 25% increase in population, and they are already fairly rich. I don't think there are any... they are actually some peasants in this area, not that many. They're gonna get used in a moment, and I'm not sure if they're even gonna be... No, they will be accepted. Yeah, they probably have the highest per capita GDP, though Germany, Great Britain are not too far behind. Germany especially, Germany is like wow. Every time I see something that Germany surprises me in this game, because they are just growing so powerful in their economy. I think they... yeah, second biggest economy in the game, Germany. They were... Belgium was stockpiling arms in Congo. That's really surprised me, though. Even just, you know, to control the colony, I would think. I think Belgium gave up some of their colonies to Germany. They are keeping South Cameroon. I assume it was partially as a trade to have Germany help them in Europe. Just had some colonies in here, but looks like they are no, there are some Germans on Papua New Guinea, Swedes as well, of all places. Yeah, definitely they will be expanding. Additional 7 million. Does that mean they still will not have the potential to become a great power? I don't think, though they are getting close. They are still super strong. Of course, they do. They have. They're not even fighting, and they are losing money. That's because of high wages. Oh yeah, are they keeping so high wages? I'm not exactly sure. Let's see the prestige for their. They are not leading producer in top 3 in anything, but they're still probably producing a ton of stuff. Let's take a look at the German market. Missing a lot of rubber. We can blame that on Mexico, though they are producing a fair amount themselves. 2,000, though nowhere close to what they need. Germany producing a fair amount of automobiles. Oil being okay. Where are they getting their oil from? Hanover and Elbe. Okay, there's a fair amount of oil in Hanover apparently, so didn't realize that. And apparently it's pretty much fine for the time being, for what they need. They would still keep their bonuses from high wages, even if they moved a bit down, but I guess maybe they didn't really micro it that much. Maybe it was for those. They needed 5 to gain this bonus, but they can go down now with wages. Still need more arts, despite Germany being the biggest producer of arts in the world, I think. They're just consuming so much of it. Probably because of the high quality of standards of living. Glass coal, a bit expensive, but not that much. Engines, still fine. Tools, very cheap. That's what having rubber does to you. Hardwood, of course, extremely cheap, because imagine microing that. Yeah, the German market is fine, though of course missing rubber and I guess some of the luxurious goods need some balancing, but that's not too big of an issue. Belgium is actually not that much ahead as I would think on tech, and their literacy also is not as high as I would expect. They don't have that many universities from what I can see. Military is of course behind, but that's just meaningless, though they are missing a lot of port techs, which I think they would need, though I guess they can just use the German convoys. Yeah, they're not that great with tech, all things considered. Okay, so what do I think about Belgium, all things considered? They're not doing that great on tech. They have very high GDP per capita, very high quality of life. Their population is growing quite fast because I assume they are sucking up migration from the German market. Yeah, from Netherlands, of course. It's mostly from Netherlands. Yeah, those guys are even going to Africa. The economy is absolutely fine and it will grow, granted, but it's not going to be able to compete with people like Japan or Mexico, or I guess in long term even Spain. Once they figure out their stuff, they didn't really get enough time to fix what AI did to this nation. I guess Belgium is just a perfectly fine B. Let's see what they do. They did lose some of their colonies, though I don't think that was a big deal in the grand scheme of things. Let's see what they do with this little expansion, which is the first expansion of Belgium from the very first session. So it's actually a historical moment. Maybe they will surprise me. They keep surprising me every session, so maybe they will continue to do so. And let's keep going. And now the fan favorite, Egypt. Who apparently has some tough times. They do have a possible revolution, but it kind of looks like they should be. They have 50% to Egypt for Sick Man of Europe award, which is of course understandable, apparently. There we go. They should be able to pass laissez-faire because the radicalism is not high enough. Though with some bad luck events it could get nasty. But if we assume like average rolls, they should get it. They do not have a movement for it, which is causing them a fair amount of radicals. I guess, well, almost, it's getting close to half of their population becoming radicals. But that should be fine. Yeah, it's about as much as I think Brazil had. Some of the previous nations. Legitimacy is a bit bad. Let's see if, yeah, they cannot improve it too much because they are a monarchy. And their monarch is a church guy, which is absolutely useless at this point of the game. Yeah, all the flags are outdated, but that's annoying to fix because first of all I have to download new flags, and then ideally I would have to remove old flags because like in the Tierlist website I'm using, you cannot remove flags once you add them, so selecting all the flags makes it really annoying. So yeah, we're keeping one flag per campaign, and he's Albanian as well. Okay, the next guy is a reformer intelligentsia, so that's gonna be nice. That's gonna be super good, actually. But this guy is 31. He's imposing apparently, which is only bad. Yeah, the monarch of Egypt sucks super bad. They have freedom of conscience, elected bureaucrats, secret police, which is probably helping them in this current situation. They have private healthcare, but other than that, public schools, dedicated police force, right of assembly, which is a huge jump considering they had closed borders for the longest time. Restricted child labor, so that's not too bad stuff. Their healthcare is a bit low, but maybe they don't want to increase it because it's private healthcare, not public, and probably not that many people would benefit from it anyways. Oh, apparently he might be able to be made abdicated, but I cannot check this because it's part of a DLC that I don't have. The French DLC for some reason has the abdication option. So yeah, that's pretty bad, and the legitimacy really gives you many more radicals than you would get. It's actually not that bad because you get really bad from 25 to 50. It's still not ideal, and it's not gonna get higher regardless of how much clout all those people have, because there's just no way. Actually, monarch is in the government because and still it's only 50% because of the ideology penalty. Oof. Yeah, that's not ideal. Let's check the text. third era of production barely started for Egypt. Third started for military. They do have the ports, which is the most important thing probably. And for society, only now starting the third era. So quite a bit behind, but that's to be expected from an unrecognized nation at the start. Can they fix their budget in a way? Oh, of course. The military wages. Not really. They will be suffering. They have all the consumption taxes they could possibly have from what I can see. They could possibly think about getting something like tax on clothes. That's more effective. Possibly. SF will help because it will reduce the construction cost, which you can just as well just remove one or two construction sectors that would have a similar issue. You cannot downsize the ongoing revolution brewing. I guess that's what they added to, because you cannot probably remove the barracks. That's a clunky way of solving this issue. 60% literacy, which, as you can see, Persia, Egypt, actually no, India, Egypt is not that great. What? Wait, what? Did I switch to something else? I switched into standard of living, but literacy, yeah, Persia, Egypt, Japan, surprisingly, Philippines are like the green lights of Asia. Other than that, it's Asia and Africa. But Persia, of course, very high in literacy. They probably are at near the top. Only 7th worldwide. Okay, Denmark is occupying the first 2 spots, then Portugal, then Greece, then Norway, then Switzerland. And out of actual big nation, Portugal is cheating a bit because their colonies are not counting. Persia is actual top, then Japan, and only then United States. And I guess Sweden there, but we all know how Sweden does. And Egypt didn't get anything from their supposed part of Ottoman Empire. I think the only... Wait, Tripolitania is... Yeah, Tripolitania. Did Italy actually fight Egypt? Or was it only me who got land from Ottomans? Because I freed Albania. Persia fought their war, but they didn't manage to win. Did Egypt just peace out for nothing? Maybe. But it would mean Italy as well peaced out? And I guess Italy cannot really solo Great Britain. Oh, apparently you got pieced out. You do not control full Yemen, which is annoying, but that's really not that big of a deal. Yeah, next session probably more wars against the Ottomans. I think all of their truces are running out. Yeah, 4 months for me. Persia, yeah, Persia is 4 years. What's this one? Mosquito Kingdom apparently has... Oh, that's... It rebelled against the UK. Oh, they backed down because... Oh, it was the slavery thing. Right. So you actually only helped them in a way, removing slavery. That's annoying. Yeah, for the time being, Egypt goes... C, I think. Yeah, there's still an up and comer. It's just they are on some rough times. A lot of people in C in this current tier list, but we'll see how it goes. You have to be in a really rough spot to go into D. India, let's see. We already know they have not that high construction. They are fighting a pretty big war currently, so probably their finances are not ideal. Just to be expected. They have 290 units. They're going for private health insurance. That's interesting. They are still on iron frame, so they could actually increase their construction by a ton if they switch to steel, but that's probably not likely to happen like relatively soon. They have their own market now, different from British. Let's start from the top actually. They still have very strong landowners. Very strong. They have a lot of radicals, but that's like percentage wise it's not that bad. They are presidential republic, wealth voting, total separation and cultural exclusions. That means most of their pops should be accepted, I think. They're going for private insurance straight up, and I guess they have very low chances of getting public health care, and they just want anything. Okay, that's fine. They have agrarianism, which I think it like compared to, for example, interventionism, it's not that much of a difference. Makes the farmers and aristocrats invest a bit more, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really change that much. No colonial affairs, closed borders, which for them it doesn't really matter because they have so many pops in their states. And they have, let's check there, they have Bengali, which, let's see, how does it, yeah. The vast majority of their population is accepted, so that's absolutely fine. Institutions only law enforcement, which I guess is something, and education at level 3, so is it going to piss off landowners? No, so it's might be possible that at some point they will be able to get primary school. Closed borders, yeah, but for India it doesn't really matter because all of their states just have such a huge population. Even if there's like 1 or 2 states, even Kashmir has 2 million. 28 million pops in one state. Yeah, I guess Bengali Pengu is going to be suffering a bit from closed immigration, but it's split state, so even if they gained the rest of Pegu, it would be fine. They're like the one nation, maybe it's even better for them than for China, because China I think has some regions with fairly low population, but even then they don't have the tiny provinces, like for example those in the eastern United States. Like check out New Jersey, like District of Columbia is an actual state. Now that's when closed borders is a problem. For Bengal I think it's fine. Their finances are absolutely fine despite being in a war. They are like have fairly minimal debt. They do have fairly low construction as well. They do have, yeah, they don't have laissez-faire, so they are using 50% of their construction. And they're actually, oh, they're not building anything. Might be because they just are not doing the micro because of the war, but let's see how much, and they would be losing a bit more money, yeah, but they can just raise taxes, it's fine. It's not big deal. They are halfway through H3 in production, starting on H3 in military, have some tax in society, so for they do start recognized, I think, but for huge nation with fairly low literacy it's not too bad. And they do have a lot of universities, so they are getting a bonus to their technology spread, but yeah, with censorship, rule of fork, minus 20%, and just low literacy, it's a pain. What companies do they have? Just plantations and mines, basic stuff. Oh yeah, and let's take a look at the market, They do have some rubber plantations. They won't be able to get that many more. So they will be lacking rubber. They have to import from someone. They're using a lot of arts, but I assume that's just because of the sheer number of their population, which is still increasing by quite a ton. Coal is expensive, glass is expensive, a lot of expensive stuff, and it's getting into 20s. That's not ideal. Even tools, most of the world has more than enough tools. But I guess since they switched their market relatively recently, they are still kind of in the middle of a transition. They have very cheap iron, so that's good news, because this means they have a lot of possible expansion of steel, a lot of... I thought this was dice, but not. The grain is... oh my god! I need to start buying grain from India. They are so overproducing grain. I guess that's good in a way. Probably why they have such a high standard of living, because the grain is 50% off, and they are not really exporting any of it. Yeah, buying grain from Bengal, that's something I need to do. Bro, your grain is like 30%. It's like minus 10%, maybe? Actually, I think I can check this, yeah. It's minus 5% compared to minus 40. And they are producing like 3 times as much? No, it's 5 times as much? Though I'm not sure if I even can import from Bengal. Let's see, who can they export the grain to? Everyone. Is yeah, but it shows only 10 units, but I assume it would expand quite quickly. You have to nominate Belgium for an award to even be voted for. So currently it's not going to be voted for any award. Yeah, India has huge economy, huge numbers. They have decent income currently. The tech is lagging a bit behind, but it's not too bad. What they're gaining from this? They're opening the Chink market, which is going to be huge for them, because they don't have that much to like sell. I guess they can just sell grain to Chink. That would be fairly easy. You can nominate it yourself with the channel points. I see Felix did something, but let me just finish Bengal. They have huge bureaucracy. I assume their institutions are super expensive, yeah. So I'm not sure if private healthcare is worth it for them, just there's going to be such a huge cost for it. I don't think they had enough time to figure their market entirely after leaving Great Britain. So for the time being, I put them at B, but I'm very curious what happens if they get a full like 15-year session. Might be very interesting. They can explode in GDP much more than they would need more construction for that, to be sure, and maybe even switch into last effort, because they need to build so much stuff, and I'm sure they have enough capitalists to fund them construction for days. What are they building even right now? Oh, they weren't building anything, which is not ideal. What happens is there's so much construction getting done. Sometimes you just forgot to start building stuff, which I guess it's not too bad as long as you're not the limit of your gold. Yeah, just B for the time being, but they might be switching to S if they really get into growth for next session. And people are nominating people. So Felix is trying to have a joint ticket for Japan as an underdog. Well, that's kind of cheating the system, Felix. I'm getting Japan, but someone has to pay for Mexico to get nominated. And then Bengal as well for the underdog. Yeah, actually Bengal might be the strongest nation at the end of the game. They certainly have the potential. Italy for underdog. Yeah, Italy is an underdog. Is Italy the only great power that didn't start as one in the game? I think so, right? I guess Bengal, but Bengal kind of starts as a great power. They just in a customs union, so that doesn't really count. Oh, you want like a double win for Japan and Mexico? Sure, that's fine. They get voted, they will get double votes. Yeah, they didn't start as one, but it's... I'm not sure if they start within a range to become a great power if they leave the customs union, but they are certainly very close to it. It's much different with their scale of population and economy. So Italy certainly deserves to be an underdog. I was hoping we would get some more great powers this session, but I guess it was just a bit too short. And the prestige difference, the economic difference is not that much, but the prestige difference is huge, and it's gonna be tough to overcome. You need to get either a lot of army or just figure something else out. So you get a lot of prestige from just Persia for Sick Man of our Europe. Kimi for so far is nominating everyone for a Sick Man award. Okay. Oh. I guess it's pretty tough to get into a great power in Victoria 3 with players also. Economy, finances look just fine. They can lower the wages to be in the positives. So high taxes are pretty annoying for the radicals, but they're actually doing super fine. Armenia is red, but they have also like 24k population, so they're just irrelevant. They will be radicals there pretty much all the time because it will be very hard to actually provide meaningful employment for those people. Yeah, because there's just not enough workers on all of those places. They are actually not employed. Most of them are employed in the railway, which by itself is not doing much. But yeah, their finances are fine, their radicals are absolutely fine. Politics. Okay, legitimacy. They have still very strong church and landowners, which is pretty interesting. I guess they are going out into opium, so the industries are not going to be that strong, but even the rural for... I'm surprised the church is so strong. I guess because they went for... they still have state religion and they are boosting religious school. And they probably should get public health insurance if the church is that strong. I mean, that should be pretty easy. It's with public health insurance you get pretty... like, I think you're guaranteed to get a role where you get potential plus 20% chance if you get if you pay some money, which usually is very nice. Makes passing public health care pretty easy. Still have autocracy, still have monarchy, and their monarchs are either landowners or church, so it's not ideal, but I guess in their situation it's currently fine. Appointed bureaucrats, I think for Persia currently it might be okay. Nah, even for Persia right now, it would be better if they switched into... Yeah, you're still likely to pass it, I think, fellas, but it's not ideal. Local police force still, so that's another thing boosting landowners. Still land-based taxation, which I think is the only nation still having that. They could improve their finances a lot by getting those. Not much in human rights, which is not surprising. Not that many institutions. So I guess for the current time, bureaucrats don't matter that much. They have only 100 construction. And they do have a lot of peasants. So potentially they should be, even like with the money they have, are they recognized? Oh, they are not recognized, so that's the issue. They do not want to go into debt because they have gigantic interest. 26% interest rate, that's oof. Yeah, you are kind of Saudi Arabia despite not controlling. Are you going to get those parts from Great Britain? Like at least this? How much actually population? It's not that much population, but that's just ugly. And I would hope India would get this as well eventually. Well, they are going to be getting a lot of land. Yeah, you are kind of at the mercy of RNG with laws sometimes. Usually 20% should be fine to get you there eventually, but if you get minus 15% instantly, then you're pretty much done. There is movement to get consumption-based taxes, which is certainly not something Persia wants, though I guess they're the one nation that could kind of live with it. It wouldn't be ideal, but they would probably survive. They should be able to... Oh yeah, it's... Wait, the rural folks support all of those. But they're not in the government. Can they make a government? Not really. With the next monarch they will be able to, because they will have monarch in the church. So that will make passing taxation easy, and they will be able to go straight to proportional, which is also nice. Something that tech. Alright, production for... I'm actually surprised they're not more ahead. Oh, they get minus 20% because unrecognized regional power. That sucks. They have huge literacy. Okay, military. Society, they're only now finishing second age. So that's actually pretty behind. And the tech is... I'm surprised they're not more ahead, even with the 20% penalty because of the huge literacy. I would think it's to be better for them. Yeah, at least what I think the Shah has is ambitious. Yeah, minus 25% decree cost, which for Persia it's absolutely huge. It gives them like 3 more edicts with how many they're running right now. And that's super nice to have just educational edicts everywhere in Persia, because that's a huge boost. That's pretty much why they have such huge literacy, because their education is not that great, but the state's edicts are super strong. Actually, I wanted to check something about the decrees. The greener pastures, plus 50% migration attraction. I need to run some of those myself, to be honest. Also, about the edicts, I think that the 5% conscription rate in this one is absolutely broken. Like, when you think about it, even in just Tabriz, 5%, it's just as much as the mass conscription gives you. It's even more than mass conscription gives you. So in a huge state, it's massive amounts of conscripts. It's really something for wars. But like late game, you have not that much authority, so that's also, I guess, balanced a little bit. Though imagine running that in like which one was the one with a huge population? Yeah, North Bengal, for example. With so many conscripts. Yeah, I guess Persia goes into B, considering their starting position and that they're just not recognized, and that they are specializing in opium and so on. Yeah, and then once you get that much, you can get... I think the problem with conscription is not how many conscripts you can get, it's how many you can support. At least in my single player games. I can like after a few years I get some decent laws and so on. I usually can recruit way more than I can afford to. Okay, let's keep going. And the next nation is going to be auto-nominated for the Sick Man of Slasher Europe. There's one for each award, just so there's someone who gets those. It's going to be Germany, which is the strongest nation in the game. Okay. That's what happens when you leave things in the hands of RNG. Okay, will it look a bit better like this? No. Yeah, the tired man. Oh yeah, I remember that. Well, they are not tired in the 1887. That's for sure. Yeah, great finances, a lot of money saved up. That's how many millions? 22 millions in reserve. National supremacy. That's interesting. They actually have a few millions of their population being unaccepted. The Poles, the Sorbs, Lithuanians, and so on. That's a few million. Not that much in the grand scheme of things, but a bit surprising that they're not going into cultural exclusion. Though I guess they are getting 100 authority and better radicals and loyalists from accepted cultures. So that's not too bad. Appointed bureaucrats. I'm pretty certain they don't need those. They would benefit a lot from better institutions. Secret police, which I guess is fine. Public schools, public healthcare, dedicated police force. Interventionism, so they're not even running laissez-faire and they have such a huge growing economy. Protected speech, which is great for technology spread. They're going for compulsory primary schools, which will boost their literacy by quite a bit. They will probably get, they're already almost in the top 10, they will probably get much higher than that with maximum education institution. And they have all the institutions they can afford. They have medium taxes, so they can possibly earn even more wages are... Wait, what? Yeah, it's... I guess it's doing the same thing for the government wages as well. Or not. No, it's fine. It's only for the military. But only for certain nations, I guess. Okay, fine. The market was fine, just luxurious goods being a bit more expensive, but that's not that much of an issue. Technology, I assume there's... Yeah, they're starting age 3. Were there cars? Yeah, cars are in combustion engines over here. Gotta get to this, because everyone is making cars and I'm not... Cars are like mini trains if you think about it, so I need to do something about this. Military, probably the most advanced nation when it comes to military. They have trench infantry, possibly the only nation in the game, so the war with France is really no issue for them. And society... finishing age... Are they getting spread to Zeppelin before they got feminism? Also, that's a really lucky tech to get spread in, but... and they have malaria prevention. Okay. I'm surprised they... Like, at this point, just getting feminism to save up a few months. I guess it doesn't really matter that much. There's not that many techs left in society, and it's not like they're investing their direct research in those. Companies focusing on steel, weapons, ships, trains, fertilizer and dyes, which is interesting. I also had though it also gives oil extraction throughput and innovation at 10%. Oh, that's... So innovation is the thing that you... yeah, that's the focus research, so that's actually less important. Though wait, does it also imply work for technology spread? The rough innovation bonus? It might, I guess. If it does, then it's super strong. But those companies are not really prosperous yet. So, yeah, still Germany is super huge economy despite being relatively low population. Though it is growing quite fast compared to other places. Like their graph of population, I guess they're just sucking up people from their market. I think if I looked at Netherlands, they're, yeah. No, it's not that low. Actually, they are only losing population in 2 of their states. And there's not that much migration in the grand scheme of things into Germany. They do have property women as well. Yeah, but I'm surprised that Netherlands have such a huge, well, not that high quality of living compared to Germany. Yeah, they actually are starving, almost starving. So I guess it's pretty high. I'm a bit surprised they have such a huge pop growth, but yeah, maybe it's just the quality of life. They are number 3, so that's true. That's huge. Yeah, surprising that it gets so many workers with, I guess 70% literacy is good enough. They have the highest construction in the game, and they're making a ton of money. They're building coal right now. And their capitalists are building a ton of stuff as well. It seems like Germany is such a powerhouse, and I'm not sure where it's coming from exactly. Like, as you said, where is this huge standard of living coming from compared to France, for example? Well, France right now, of course, is having some issues, but they do have much higher literacy than France. This is like the scale of economy compared with very high quality workers all around. Where's Moravia? Oh, Moravia is so low because it wasn't my core for a long time. Right. Yeah, definitely tier C for Germany. I'm not exactly sure where is their growth coming from. Compared, for example, like United States are doing their peasant removal program and also growing a lot with migration. And Germany, I don't really get why they're growing so much faster than everyone else. Even Great Britain, how they're overtaking Great Britain so hard. I mean, last session is just being played by a player rather than AI, but they were overtaking them already, like for a few good sessions. Yeah, let's get rolling. And it's Great Britain talking about. Let's see how they're doing. They were played by AI, so there might be some weird stuff happening, like having high taxes with such a huge income for no reason, despite not being at war. They have pretty low construction. Yeah, they have. AI does not really like to build much construction or to have like even the close to negative expenses. They could have so much more, and they even have high taxes, and they're not doing anything with it. Let's take a look at laws. Private health insurance, which is what they had, I think, with the player. They're going for bigger welfare. They do not have max education, even though they could, but maybe they just passed it relatively recently. They are downgrading their health system for some reason, despite having huge positive bureaucracy and huge balance of money. They're doing fine on tech. They actually are, I think, one tech ahead of, maybe not. Maybe they're not ahead, just the same as Germany. They are getting trench infantry just now, which means they are behind in military. And they haven't really started age 3 in society, but they pretty much could. Just almost finish with philosophical pragmatism and then just feminism, and then they're good to go. Where Great Britain is in a great situation, it's just it needs a player to play it. It has the military and tooling company, which I guess it's fine. They probably are the top producer of tools. Oh yeah, they're top in so many things. Number 3 in services, okay. Number 3 in transportation, alright. Tools, number 1, yeah, as I thought. Yeah, like if it was played by a player, it would go into A easily. It doesn't go into S simply because they should be the top dog based on their starting position, and they're actually falling behind. But it's and they are in a not using their resources correctly, but that's just AI. Like player could just spam construction sectors, and that would be all fine. And I would assume their economy would start growing much faster as well. They did lose Bengal, but that didn't seem to have much effect. Maybe the AI removes construction because they had huge debt, and it didn't really take into account that Great Britain pays no interest, so really debt is nothing for them. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, just, you know, it would be nice to have a player on it, basically. And now Denmark, which is in a civil war, and it also wasn't played the entire session, so, you know, there's not much to talk about, to be honest. Hard to... Oh wow, they're about to go bankrupt. They have a legitimate government, even though they could fix it instantly, but the AI is not doing that. They have... wait, what? Do they have no actual land border between... Oh yeah, because it goes into Schleswig-Holstein and not into Jutland, so technically speaking those places are an island between each other. Can they make a... let me see, do I remember how to make a naval landing here? Jutland... They could only land with 8k, which is not enough to beat the... Ooh, wow. They do have nice literacy, both of the Denmarks. But winning this war on their own... It's not going to go into... It's not going to go below 0 because war goals are not being... I guess the... Wait, do they both have to annex everything? It kind of looks like the revolt can't go below 0, so eventually Denmark should just win. And they could probably just build up a few units. A few ports, I guess, is what they need right now to invade into Jutland. But they might go bankrupt before if that even happens. Yep. Oh my god, they have so many consumption taxes. And most they give like 90 pounds, I guess, is the currency. 100 pounds. They just give nothing. They would be probably much better off either getting like cloves or grain, though even that would not be that much money, or just getting some decrees that will actually benefit them more long term. Yeah, looks like I was thinking if we're gonna get someone in D, Denmark goes into D. Even for a player having low ambitions, just going out of this revolution might be tough. It's not great. And let's keep going. It's actually only 4 nations, I think, because 2 of those are nominations. And it's my very own Austria. Are we gonna get nominations at the very end? That'd be annoying. You're already on a ticket with Mexico. It's too late. I cannot withdraw it. Oh yeah, I'm making money because the construction dropped, I think. So that will probably fix itself once the trade unions like me a bit more. And also, I mean, probably I should just increase the taxes. I don't have that many radicals. Most of them are in Bulgaria and Thrace anyways. So who cares about them? And Croatia and Dalmatia, for some reason, I have no clue why they're complaining so much. They have 17 standards of living, which is one of the highest in my country, and they're still complaining. They have like super high literacy. They have 61, which is lower than Bohemia, for example, and they're still complaining so much. Why are they complaining? I don't think anyone is. Yeah, they're all accepted. Oh, yeah, maybe something to do with them just moving to the United States. Why are they complaining so much? Oh, it's just because I think I got a lot of radicals from I mean, some of them are from political movements, but not most of them. Most of them are from standards of living. Serbs are all accepted because I'm accepting pretty much all European cultures and all religions. That's my culture, so that's Hungarian as well. All Catholics are being accepted. They did move, but the move was caused by them migrating to the United States. And they have super high migration attraction. I think they have like yeah, they have available employment, so they not. Maybe there are like they have low. They get 12 here, for example, and their minimal is okay. They are below minimal standard of living in here, so I guess I should remove some of the buildings, but I cannot with the laissez-faire, so that's a bit annoying. But I guess that must be the reason. Like in some, they're not getting enough money. They're getting good enough here. Trade center, obviously. No, those guys are super rich. What else is employing a lot of people? Ports? No, that's fine. Oh yeah, here tooling workshop is way too poor. Textile mill is fine. This one has barely any workers. Maybe it's just the lack of workers. The production. No, this one is. This one has an okay amount of workers. Let's look at, I guess, laborers. Wait, I cannot click that, so there's Catholics. That's a yeah. Those in paper mills are not. Yeah, some people are not having enough, getting enough money from their jobs. The tooling workshops. But no, that's the entire nation, so that's irrelevant. Though interesting that the paper mills are apparently not paying that well. Oh yeah, just like this. Yeah, that's... Urban centers, I guess, are not paying that well. Apparently urban centers. Yeah, urban center. Paper mill, yeah, that's everywhere. Port. Okay, that's interesting. Where's the urban center? Is it over here? Where is it? Oh yeah, here. Yeah, I guess the low admin cost. Oh, you mean the... Oh, I guess, yeah, the wages. Oh, right, yeah, the wages is probably what's causing the issue. They probably should increase the wages. And that probably will help some of them. Yeah, I think that's at least a big chunk of the problem, probably. Okay, so now with that done, my government is pretty much perpetually unaccepted because of the annoying Habsburgs being landowners. Yeah, so many ports there and urbanization. I think the laws are pretty much good. Of course, I could get a bit more... remove monarchy, first of all, because it's annoying. Remove censorship. Slowly think about switching legal guardianship, but that's not really... I still have some peasants, so that's fine. And I will be gaining a bit more land from Ottomans too, so it's no rush to that. I'm trying to get colonial exploitation just to maybe think about some colonies somewhere, but that's just maybe, not really focused on that, and it will pass probably very soon. Does it make trade centers up? I could switch to free trade eventually. It would piss off some people, but that they are not really important. I guess, yeah, free trade gives much more trade route competitiveness. But like, for example, mercantilism and protectionism are pretty much the same, right? Oh, it changes employment for... okay. I have a ton of trade centers, so that's probably quite relevant. Oh yeah, because it's shopkeepers and I could have more capitalists and clerks, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's interesting. Wouldn't probably change that much in the grand scheme of things, but I do have a lot of trade centers, so that would probably boost, for example, the investment pool and maybe boost industrialists more, though I wouldn't really want that, but I guess that could happen. Clerks would maybe support intelligentsia or someone else, maybe even trade unions. I wonder who are they, just out of curiosity, who are the shopkeepers supporting? Okay, they're supporting industrialists anyway, so never mind. Doesn't matter. They are pretty rich though, for shopkeepers. Okay, so that's that. The tech in production, I'm more than halfway done with production, but still quite a bit behind. Yeah, getting cars will be quite a while, honestly, for me. Military is alright, actually. I'm probably like 1 or 2 techs behind Germany, so that's not too bad. Of course, missing trench works, which means huge problem short term, but I could catch up, and not too bad in society. So I'm mostly behind in production, which is unfortunate because I would want cars, but that's gonna take a while. Companies, I added a company for oil because it has nice bonuses. I'm hoping to be exporting much oil, but that's probably not going to happen. All my companies are no longer prosperous, so that probably means I need to redo my trade again and build more ports, but it's in due time. I think currently Austria is the average great power. France was average great power last session, and now they fell down, mostly because of AI. So now Austria just goes into A. And yeah, USA, Germany definitely stronger. Great Britain actually, in a lot of ways, probably more even with Austria-Hungary than ever before. Yeah, no productivity because for some reason they probably need to do something with trade, so they actually start making money. So sometimes it's actually pretty tough for me, like steel mills, if you want to keep prices low, they are not going to be that productive, and I would really want them to be, but oh, it's actually, I guess it's comparing to the global average. So if your prices are much lower than in other places, then you're gonna have an issue. And my steel, I think, is minus 9%, which is fairly cheap. But it's fine. It's not too bad, not too good. Fine. Probably want to catch up in tech the most, and do that trade thing as well. That would be nice. And let's keep going. And Portugal, probably the most interesting nation because of their setup, focused on colonies with very weak mainland. Import or export or import focus, do you mean like tariffs? Yeah, I'm keeping the company because it has very good prosperity bonus, the plus 5% construction, and also bonus to steel construction. Yeah, tariff settings, it's tough to check because there's no good menu, I think. Like, I would have to individually go into everything, right? In this case, I guess it's British market, so it doesn't really matter, but for some nation, I don't think there's an easy way to see those. That's true, steel is already dirt cheap. I was thinking about switching some of my companies, so maybe I should, since they're not prosperous at all. Yeah. For some key goods I could check, but that's not really easy with so many markets. And the British market is not that great, to be honest. Like, I guess it's not too bad. Oil, only engines and rubber are really issues. Oil and dice, I don't think are that important. Though they are using a lot of oil, so 20% price, it's not great. But other than that, yes, I think their steel is fairly cheap. Yeah, glass is plus 11%, which is not too bad. Yeah, for trade routes, but like if I know someone is exporting a lot of stuff, I could maybe check those tariffs, but I don't think a lot of people even use those buttons. And France goes into S. Well, they move one up into B. You have to move them one by one. It's not that simple. Let's get back into Portugal. They have decent finances currently. They're going into protected speech, which will help with their tech. They have proportional taxation already, which is very nice. I'm not sure if they had cultural exclusion at the end of last session, so maybe they are trying to be more accepting of potential colonies. Charity hospitals still, I think they even start with those. Compulsory primary school, that's really nice. Yeah, and there's no Ottomans, so no Ottoman tier. And they have maxed out institutions because their institutions are super cheap because of their low core population. That means also low taxes. Yeah, the wages are comparatively super huge compared to their taxes, which is rather rare but interesting. Yeah, the British market, the technology, surprising behind when you consider their super huge literacy. Like, even with not that many universities, they should be, I think they should be much more ahead. Like, they're actually quite badly behind in military, and like for a European nation too. That's actually pretty surprising. They are switching from censorship, which will be a pretty good boost for them. Still basing their economy on minting. So they're gaining like 70k from taxes and 200,000 from minting. This is basically like a feudal state. They're gaining all their money from a monopoly on gold. Though they do have a huge economy, it's just not taxed. The ultimate capitalist dream. Yeah, that's interesting way to play the game. They have not that much fleet, not that much army, so that's not really relevant, but their economy is growing. Could they get into great power just based off their economy? I guess they are a leading producer in gold, rubber, coffee, manowars, and tea. Are they even using manowars? I guess they are using, because maybe they didn't upgrade the units. Yeah, for them laissez-faire would be ideal. The only problem is carrying the 25% construction they need to do themselves, because their construction is pretty low. And they can only afford so much. Like, most of their money they could gain from lowering wages for government, because that's their biggest spending, other than construction. Maybe consumption taxes I think also don't count for unintegrated provinces. They are incorporating some stuff. So they're definitely trying to switch, incorporating Madagascar as well. They're incorporating quite a bit, and they must have been doing it even before the start of the session, honestly. At least some of it. Okay, and I very much wonder how their nation is going to look once they actually incorporate some of this stuff. And honestly, I wonder how much use they have in the British market. I mean, it's still huge for gaining, but it's not ideal. I wonder how much they're producing themselves. Maybe they should try experimenting with trying to go their own way in some way. Maybe joining even Spanish market, maybe. Well, together with Spain, or maybe Spain should join the Portuguese market, because the Portuguese economy is like twice as big as the Spanish. Yeah, I think they should maybe try thinking about going into. Ideally, they would want to avoid using too many convoys, so I'm not sure if America or Germany make that much sense. They do have border with France somewhere, probably in the colonies, at least here. So maybe the French, but France is also... it's actually not going to be an AI, so maybe. I think as the best up-and-comer, Portugal gets into A. They are, I think, the top dog when it comes to economy out of the Yeah, they are catching up to Italy, and they're doing it in a very interesting way. So let's see how it continues to pan out for them. And the last two nations. If we get on a nation now, then okay, Spain will get nominated for those two awards, but now we get Russia. Russia was kind of bugged at the last tier list, so it's actually a fresh look pretty much. Oh yeah, they're at war with Qing, and yeah, their army is moving to the front. Maybe the front just switched. That happens sometimes in this game. You never know. Maybe some fronts combined, and one with most of their army actually moved somewhere. All of this is possible. They are in a separate war compared to everyone else, and they want to gain northern Manchuria, southern Manchuria, Urga, Yuzhtai, Tuva, and war reparations. So that's a huge chunk. Is it more? Tuva certainly was. Yeah, this is like pretty much the modern Mongolia, right? So it's pretty much historical borders, right? I think. Oh, this modern state is kind of ugly compared. Like, if you wanted to form the Japanese Manchuria, that would be an issue, I think, right? You'd have to form something ugly blob like this. But they are certainly going to get this, and this is a huge population chunk. Well, like 12. Not that much over here, of course. They're already third solidly, which means probably United States are not going to overtake them in this campaign. Just with those additional almost 20 millions of population. And the raw resources as well. Steel, iron, coal, lead, quite a bit. Iron. I don't see sulfur anywhere. Lead will be nice. 60 possible mines of lead and population to support those. But they're certainly not going to be missing the basic iron and coal, though I assume, yeah, they probably not need that much, but just the population is going. Though they are mining quite a bit, and Ural is probably not that populated compared to other places. Let's look at their politics. Industrialist, very strong. Landowners still stronger than most places, but on the clearly losing power. Intelligence, okay, they do have legitimate government because czars are actually from decent interest groups. Pavel maybe less so, but eventually. Monarchy, autocracy, which I guess is fine for them currently. With they get much more authority this way. Some easy points to suppress. Total separation and cultural exclusion, which means they should be accepting most of European pops, though where they're expanding, that means the Chinese pops are not going to be accepted, I assume. Yeah, is discriminated in Russia. Not surprising. Yeah, well, I don't think the AI China would use it, but we could get at some point player China, so that would be weakening them quite a bit. Private health insurance, which is interesting. I wonder how much effect does it actually have. I don't think it's possible to check what it does in practice rather than except just looking at everything, which is not really. But compulsory primary schools, that's really nice. Their literacy is going to skyrocket, possibly even more than it is right now. I'm surprised there's no clear point where they started the compulsory primary school. Oh yeah, maybe. If you had charity hospitals, then it's really difficult to switch. And though you are 10%, Mm. Although, yeah, trade unions are marginalized, so probably not that easy. A lot of cost for those institutions, but appointed bureaucrats, so maybe that's switching could help quite a bit with this. Though they have healthy finances, so it's not a big deal. Though only with max taxes. Oh yeah, the wages are bugged yet again. The finances actually are not ideal, but it is a war economy, so it works a bit different. Probably once the troops are demobilized, it's going to be much better. And there's 100k manpower in all of those. I mean, should be fine, I guess. Might be just a bit more grinding to get those provinces. They are actually not getting ticking yet. They need to either get the capital or those two states, which honestly, with how AI picks where battles are happening, it's just going to be pretty much random which they get first. I mean, it's not impossible for me to see a situation where they get northern Manchuria and then start conquering Korea. If it's in the it is in the war, unfortunately. So getting the war goals might be taking a bit more time, which is annoying, of course. The Russian market, they have lack of silk, but probably it is being disrupted by the trade routes. Yeah, they were importing silk. Sugar as well, they were probably... Yep. The war might take some time, so might think a bit about fixing the trade routes. Other than that, the basic stuff is pretty okay. The weapons are with decent prices. Weapons are actually super cheap, so that's really good for them. This makes the war much less expensive in the especially since it might take quite a bit more. Just even getting from here to there, how many days can I see it? Yeah, almost a month just to get to the front line. So that's honestly, China doesn't have that low numbers. Like, honestly, I assume the Russians are going to be winning, but it's going to be a bit grindy. Like this battle, it's 5k versus 11k, so Chinese have twice the numbers advantage. Obviously, the quality is much lower, but it might be more grindy than you'd expect. Especially if the war versus India, or like France, technically speaking, ends quicker, and they do occupy their war goal, so it's gonna be a while before the war support ticks down. It's going to be an annoying war for Russia for quite a bit, I think. Technology, let's take a look at that. Yeah, they're pretty much like South America level with production, which is to be expected, of course, because they do start with a pretty low literacy. They are doing pretty well on military tech, though. They're finished with second era and getting trench works, which is honestly like Great Britain level of military tech. Very nice. And society, it's they're actually the most behind on production, which I guess for Russia does make a certain amount of sense. They still have a ton of peasants. Like potentially in the end game, it's gonna be probably either Russia or Bengal, maybe the United States being the top dogs. I think like in the long term, the population is super important. Because the United States are going to be growing super fast. Russia is going to be, even right now, is very nice population, and Bengal is huge as well. So I'm thinking that top GDP at the end of the game is going to be one of those three. Don't really see how anyone could overtake them long term. With the most likely one being obviously Bengal, just because of their population. But I wouldn't be surprised if Russia or the United States. If United States got the GDP of Belgium, they could easily compete with those two. And they certainly can. They have a lot of resources and good customs union too. with a lot of pops in those, at least. What are those? I think it's Canada trying their best, but yeah, no progress on colonies. Is it because they don't have... Yeah, they don't have any institution for colonization, so it's... Oof, that's ugly. Maybe United States should annex Canada just to get rid of this. But where... Russia has 800 construction. Decent military. They are a major power, so they decided it's not worth it to keep struggling to maintain a great power rank, which is fair. They could actually become great power at, with just a button. I think they are still a bit behind the other great powers, though it is a bit hard to tell with the trade routes off and the war going on. They probably would be able to afford much more construction if they weren't at war. But I think they go into B for the time being. And now I think the last nation is Spain, if I recall correctly. And because there's only 2 nominations left, that means that Spain is just chosen and also gets nominated for those 2. Unfortunately, I don't have second flag for Spain, which is an oversight, to be honest. But let's assume Spain is... Wait, Spain is actually the only nation nominated for the Victory Award, so unless someone does something, they're gonna... There are actually like 4 mods on this channel. Is it actually going to be Spain that's rolled last? Well, the wheel knows all and always picks right. There was no need for special rules after all. Okay, Spain, let's bear in mind Spain is also nominated for... Yep, that's how I'm gonna do it. Works fine. And let's take a look at Spain. Spain being the nation played the longest time by AI, currently regaining a bit of land from France, which I mean, if they can hold their own against France, that's pretty good. They do have a pretty good military, it's just, you know, it's in Europe, which is a tough competition. Denmark for Victoria, ooh. And Persia for Victoria. I need a better way, like duplicate flags. There's really no way to manage those things added in, like flags added as files. Maybe I need to have a better site for tier lists, because that's currently kinda sucks in a lot of ways. And US for victory, that's fine because there's no need to make it a bit bigger. Yeah, it looks fine. Spain still has pretty high prestige for what it was. Where is it coming from? Army projection and naval projection. Oh, right, yeah. They actually have 9th biggest fleet in the world. Bigger than Austria, for example, which is not that much of an achievement, but still. United States have a surprisingly small fleet. Smaller than Italy, than Russia. That's a bit surprising. And Ching on paper has the most flotillas, but I guess I'm not looking at naval projection. So 1800 for Spain, yeah, 12,000 for Germany, 4,000 for... Yeah, that makes sense. How much was the United States? 4, so they still have much less naval power than Italy. It's pretty much Germany and United Kingdom competing for the first spot. Yeah, and the Chinese fleets are super paper. They have 300 flotillas and have not even twice the fleet power of Portugal, who has 10% of their flotillas. So yeah, that's a huge difference. So I was saying that Spain is doing well fighting France, but looks like it was also costing them quite a bit. Yeah, currently they stopped their production in order to do something about their balance, which is minus 1k right now. It's fine, but they're not constructing anything other than the private construction, which is not that much because they do not have laissez-faire. And they also have 30k interest. Yep, because they, even though it's fairly small, 10%, it's not ideal. Especially for it's like 10% of their income right now is interest. And diplomatic pacts. They're paying Philippines. Huh? Are they just bankrolling them for some reason? Yeah, they're bankrolling. Maybe they want to get the how do you call it? Obligation from them for some reason. Maybe they want to annex them or something. It is a puppet already, so maybe. Let's take a look at laws. They are trying to get wage subsidies, probably because a movement. And they do have a lot of radicals. Let's see, compared to their population, that's not too bad. Contested government because they are a monarchy and they do not have intelligentsia in their government. Intelligentsia also kind of sucks. They have very low clout, so it's rather difficult to use this monarch. Church has a lot of power in Portugal, and also landowners. Yeah, church and industrialist making the strongest interest groups in Spain, which is okay. Not really something you see often, but they do have religious schools, charity hospitals, which explains that a fair bit. State religion as well. Appointed bureaucrats. Though I guess, yeah, they don't have that many institutions, so it's not that relevant, and not that much of a population anyways. He called Spain for Portugal. Did I say Portugal has... Spain has 30 flotillas or something? Maybe. I mean, Spain actually has much bigger fleet, though in fleet power it's the same as Portugal. They have legacy slavery, but wage subsidies, so nice. I guess, and regulatory bodies. They have a very interesting approach to human rights. I guess it works for them. No, I guess not. Maybe not for the entire population. Yeah, they could just increase taxes, and I don't think they really need full military wages. Yeah, never mind. Their finances are not that bad in the grand scheme of things. They are in their own market. Ooh, glass, sulfur. Italy, what are you doing? Why is the Spanish market lacking sulfur? Someone needs to get on top of those. They are not importing any sulfur, so probably needs to fix that. Glass is also a bit of an issue, though they are importing more than half of their current usage. Groceries, ammunition, that's probably the military, which is something Russia is doing very well avoiding. They have super low prices for military goods. Groceries, engines. Oh, the prices are not the best for Spain. Things might fix themselves after the war. Yeah, the basic stuff is alright. Iron. Where's steel? Steel, yeah, also very cheap. Tools, wood. Yeah, maybe after the war it's gonna be much better, but they need to start importing some sulfur. And fertilizer, probably, though those two I think are connected in their price. Not that great on production, pretty bad in military, oh wow. Yeah, not that great in society. They are quite a bit behind on tech, though I guess they do have not that great literacy, and have been paid by AI for the longest time. This gold company is probably not really needed. They have only 4 gold mines. And I guess textile mills are okay if you want to build them. Because they don't maybe something like glassworks or tooling would be better at this point. Yeah, Spain is still not in the best position, though I think they will be, like, considering being played by an AI, their economy is tiny compared to their population. They should be up there competing with Japan and so on, and they have half of their GDP. Despite having no, actually Japan has much higher, twice the population. But still, Egypt should have higher population, higher GDP than Spain, but yet it does. So even in their current somewhat rough state, yeah, I think Spain needs a bit more work. They certainly can become a great power, I think, eventually, but currently they go into a C position. So that's it. That's the current tier list. Now let's get to voting. Let's see. The first vote is going to be... let's see where's the least. The sick man of Slasher Europe, I guess. Of course you can vote, just like always, and it's going to be Egypt, Germany or Persia. It's just going to be 1 minute. Well, someone has a quick finger here voting for Persia. Can you guys see the results on your end or not? But looks like Persia has more friends, or at least more nulls, but that's how it goes in life. Oh yeah, you can. Yeah. A lot of fans of Germany, I guess. Surprisingly, it looks like there's more people, because well, we're not counting actual votes, but there's more people supporting Persia and voting for Egypt. So that's a bit surprising. And it is Egypt being the sick man of Slasher Europe, which is something Kimi apparently wanted because he nominated himself for this, let's say, honor. And the next one is the ultimate underdog, right? Who else do we have here? India and Italy. Also 1 minute. Seems 1 minute is fine. Looks like people are not really believing in Japan and Mexico. Oh! Wait, did I... nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Luckily, it doesn't seem like anyone actually spent their nulls, so let's redo that one. That was a bit of a misclick, but yeah, we're back on track. Kimi, you weren't observing my stream? How dare you? Yeah, the end questioner is in an anxiously close spot to see the votes. It is tied right now. Nobody's spending any money. Oh. Someone is. Just keeping it safe, just one extra vote. Yeah, it looks like no love for India, unsurprisingly, and even less vote love for Japan and Mexico. So Italy is going to be the ultimate underdog. And now for the final vote. Oh, I think Spain was also supposed to be here, but I forgot about it. Probably wouldn't have won anyways, so... Well... At least this time I should remember about the Persia. Spain, Denmark, Persia, and some small unknown nation of United States. Yep, this time I remembered. Starting strong, everyone voting at the same time. Someone is actually voting for the United States, and it's not only Joacho. It's actually not even mostly Joacho. Well, to a point. Who's the mysterious sponsor of Denmark? I think I can only see it after the voting is ended. Let's see if Joacho has as deep pockets as he has his talk. Out of nowhere, Persia. And yeah, it's Persia. Unsurprisingly, with a single voter. you see, Joacho, you were going for a safe strategy, just going one vote over. Persia just went into surprising strike. And it turned out it was the winning strategy in the end. They weren't even on... Their flag wasn't even on the award. And still they won. Basic things that can happen in this game. Okay, so that's gonna be it for this tier list. Yeah, it is well voting, that's true. That means I do have some authoritarianism, which is pretty nice. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this tier list. I'm gonna post it in a second, the memes channel. And see ya guys on Thursday. Bye.